Hi, this is Cherie with Rehash Fibre, and I've got Rocky here napping. Today we are wrapping up the Rehash Fibre travel adventure to Washington State. There was much more to that trip than what you've seen in the past two episodes. My time with Christina Harkness was fantastic. The work day was wonderful, but there was so much more that went into the trip. And I'm speaking from a traveler's point of view and a fiber artist's point of view. But it is an area worth seeing if you are either one or both. So I owe it all to Christina, because when I asked her if I could cover her exhibit in Oregon when the whole community coral reef is on display, she said, "How about meeting me in Washington State while I'm doing my artist in residency?" And I did, and it opened up my mind, and it was so much fun. So I want to share some of that with you. I'm a hiker, and I love the national parks, just the beauty. So I plan to arrive early to Washington so I could explore Mount Rainier myself. I'm also a big fan of Airbnbs, so I want you to check out this one. So this Airbnb totally gave me the ambiance of just relaxing and getting ready for the sightseeing. It was a great place to sit and knit, drink a glass of wine, and just enjoy the woodsy region. Mount Rainier blew my mind from the moment I saw it, all the way from the Seattle airport to close to the park. You can see it, and it's just in different viewpoints, and I had to keep concentrating on driving. It's so eye-catching and looks so powerful because it is a mountain there. It seems to be standing on its own. And it rises from base to peak is 11,000 feet, with the peak being at 14,000 feet. But the elevation rise is that 11,000, which makes it look so immense and just grand. And it was just beautiful to see. So there was a lot of snow in the park, however, the roads were clear. So I was able to drive pretty far up in, but I did not have hiking gear for snow. However, I love to spin. So I got up there and just stared at the mountain and spun my drop spindle and had the most relaxing time. And what was really neat is the weather was great. And for the first few days, I didn't even need to wear a coat. So heading over to Port Townsend, I kept putting in yarn stores near me, and there were yarn stores all along the way. Come to find out, there are 22 yarn stores in the yarn crawl around Puget Sound. And I thought, I think my mind's gonna blow up because that is great. The first one I stopped at was Bayshore Yarns in Silverdale, Washington. It is a cute, standalone, almost looks like a house, but it's right there where there's some other shops, but it's on the waterfront with French doors that open to a patio that then is right there on the water. So what better place than having the yarn, the hobby that we love so much, and then you can sit right there on a warm day in a rocker and knit and rock with your friends and look over the water. I mean, it was just beautiful. I had a lovely visit with Mary while I was there and perused all the goodness, and it is a great shop. Up the way a little bit, there was a yarn store in Port Gamble, Washington. However, it was not open that day. Just a couple shops down was Gamble Bay Textiles. I walked through the door and there were 2 big floor looms and 2 small floor looms set up to one side, and then beautiful woven textiles to look at throughout the store. It was great, and I was super intrigued. And those large floor looms are something I've not experienced yet. And so I was able to talk with Marcia, who's the owner of the store, and learn more about that. And she showed me some of it, and it was just very interesting, and it's definitely worth checking out. And it's a super cute town, worth walking up and down the street with all the shops. Again, it's right on the water, and you do want to make a stop there. After that, I was ready to get to Port Townsend, where I was staying, get checked into my Airbnb up on the hill with these great Victorian homes. And here is my old house that I stayed in, built in the late 1800s. I had the top floor apartment with the creaky floors and all of this wonderful place that had so much life and character. And the best thing about it was 2 short blocks downhill to get to the waterfront shops and restaurants right along the shore of the Sound. It is a wonderful historic town that is just beautiful and the shops were great. What was really neat is, again, when I'm at my Airbnb, I put in a yarn store near me, and they said 2 blocks away. I'm like, when does that happen in my world, 2 blocks away? So of course I walked right down there. The store is called Bazaar Girls Yarn Shop, and the yarn in there was stunning. I have a lot of yarn here, and so when I am out, I'm actually trying really not to buy things. However, if there is something so beautiful that it latches on, and you know what I'm talking about, I'm like, I can't leave it. I know I can make something great with it. I just get it, because part of the joy of life is having the yarn to make things with. And so I found quite a few things there, and fiber included, which already spun up, gorgeous stuff. The ladies there, Carrie and Dana, were lovely. I enjoyed visiting with them, and just great experience at the yarn shop. If you get a chance to go to Port Townsend, Washington, do it. If anything in that region interests you, or even if it doesn't and you're learning about it just like I did by somebody saying, why don't you meet me there? I could say, you won't be sorry. It's beautiful. I mean, you get a great town with water and mountains. You've got the Cascades right over the Sound, and then you have the Olympic National Park right there on the peninsula that you're on, and just waterfront towns along the way. If you want to make your way from Port Townsend to Port Angeles, that's great, and I know there's tons more. I just did not have time to do all of that. It is a region very much worth seeing. The beauty, the nature, and I have to tell you, there was one day I chose just to do everything on foot because I had done a lot of driving, and I thought I need a day on my feet. So I went hiking around Fort Worton, and I took the beach. There was hardly but anybody out that day, so I felt like I had the beachfront to myself. And it was beautiful because the seagulls were making their loud, beautiful sound, and the waves were coming in, and across the water I can see the Cascade Mountains. And I got into a bit of a trance as I'm hiking along. And then I thought, stop, look at this water. This is the great Northwest. There might be creatures there that I'm missing because I'm in my peaceful flow trance. Sure enough, I look out there and I see little heads pop up. It was sea otters, and they were so cute. They were so happy to see each other. They just swam into each other. This is in the water, ran into each other, were rolling around. And then they swam right up on shore right in front of me, playing in the sand right in front of me. I didn't move. They were happy. When I started to take one step forward, that was enough. Send them right back into the water so they could play and then come up behind me and play some more. That was really awesome, just to see nature and have them not be afraid of me so that I could watch them even more. It was great. Another cool thing that I, as a visitor, think about that area is all the deer that are walking around. In Port Townsend, there's deer like there are squirrels here, everywhere. And they're just walking through the yards and up and down the streets. And I thought that was really cool, and that we can get so close to them and see them up close. And because everywhere else I've been here, and they run away as soon as they see you. You don't hardly get a glimpse. Here, they're just grazing. They look up. You could be a couple feet away. They're just, But when I told a group of people at the Fibre Marine Life Center about how I was so delighted with the deer, you can see they all kind of just looked at each other like, and I'm like, what? The deer eat the gardens. The deers are kind of pesty to them. So anyway, but they're fun for me. Also on that beach at Fort Worton, I found it another great opportunity to spin my spindle. And also up on the bank overlooking the water. Very relaxing places, very fun to do that. Another great thing about that part of the country is that it felt to me like everybody was a knitter or crocheter. Now, it is because of the company that I was hanging out with that they were, but it felt more prominent than here. When I was at the Fibre Marine Life Center, there was a gentleman that was knitting with us. There were teenagers. There were a variety of people. And I don't know, I just found it really exciting that it's a variety of people doing it. And the other misconception is that people there think Florida has no knitting. However, we do knit down here. It's just maybe a little bit differently. It's not so much the warm wools, even though you know me, I do everything. But we do the short sleeve shirts, light little scarves, and we definitely need a cardigan in the winter because instead of a coat, you can always wear a cardigan when it gets cool. And by any chance, if you want to open a yarn store in Florida, there'll be business because we're doing it. While we were doing our workday at the Fibre Marine Life Center, I met Lee, who owns 8th Street Emporium in Port Angeles. As soon as we wrapped the workday, I ran over to her shop before it closed. She and Tom are the owners, and it's a really neat concept. They have everything in their store is fiber art related, and you call it rehomed. So it has been previously owned by somebody else, and they have all kinds of stuff. They get their things through estate sales, donations, however. So what she said is, you can't plan a whole garment there by coming in and getting all the same skein of yarn, but there is just all variety, all kinds of stuff. And when I went there, it was pretty cool. There's wheels galore, fiber galore, yarn galore. There's just a lot of stuff there, and it's a really cool concept. So that's kind of neat. And she's keeping the life in these tools that we love so much and getting them on to other people. So I had a wonderful visit with them and just got to see their great place. And I'll include all the information of this trip in the description for you so that if you choose to do it or any part of it, you can find that and duplicate that. So if you can't make it up to the Pacific Northwest, check out the pictures, check out things online, look at it on Google Earth, see that region. You might have more of an idea of what I'm talking about in any way. All right, everybody, thanks for joining Rehash Fiber Travel Adventures as we went to Washington State. Happy travels. Thanks for watching.